We're going to talk about IBM Security Access Management and all the integration things that component has. ISAM, as I'm depicting here, sits on the DMC and is an appliance like almost every technology I've been talking about here, which is IBM security model, which devices are either physical or virtual appliances. And the first thing that people think of this technology is to achieve web single sign-on. So I want to make sure that when somebody comes into any one of my applications in here, that individual authenticates against Active Directory if he's an internal user, or against an LDAP if he's an external user, and if he provides the right credentials, he's going to be allowed to go to a particular application, and when he switches from that application into another, as long as he doesn't close his browser, he will be allowed to do so without having to challenge him to authenticate again. But another thing that we do with this technology, which is very useful, is it incorporates on the same engine a risk-based authentication and two-factor, many components of two-factor. So, for example, you can do things like if a user is accessing the application outside, 200 miles from the actual location, or if coming from outside the country, ask them for a second factor, and we support out of the box things like sending an SMS message to his phone, sending an email, and we have integration with very many other second factor authentication, all on the same device. Another thing that we do is that if you're coming from a mobile device, we have integration with MAS 360, and what we can do is actually extract from the device some characteristics of it, some context. Like, for example, the device has been jailbroken, so you may decide you may not want to allow a person to have access to that. All that integration exists today. Another thing is we have a component from Trusteer called Pinpoint that the banking people uses very effectively, which requires you to put JavaScript code on some landing pages of your applications to run, and that can be some kind of involved because you need to keep those JavaScripts up to date. Not anymore when you have ISAM, because we have integration with Pinpoint, with Trusteer Pinpoint, and then that JavaScript sits and gets updated into the ISAM appliance, so the application in the back end doesn't have to know anything about it. This technology also includes a web application firewall to prevent some people from accessing certain type of information. We also include federation, so you can come with one type of credential and really get another one. You can log in internally into your company, and then when you go to an external site, a SAML session gets created for you, and vice versa. That appliance also has a load balancing capabilities in the same appliance, and we can terminate the SSL session with high efficiency. This technology is even integrated, and it's a module. That component that sits on the DMC, it is a module that you can deploy on your data power. So no longer you have to have a device for web traffic and another device for standard browser traffic. You can have them combined all into single appliance.